So if you're thinking about joining Epique Realty, but you're like, who should I name as my sponsor? And your core focus is focusing on someone local, you might want to rethink that. Hey there, welcome to my epic journey. This is Brandon DeVere. Thank you as always for tuning in and sharing your time with me. I do appreciate that. Here we go from 600 to 0 to 600 plus on the journey to get back to where we ended. Just wanted to welcome you guys back. I wanted to bring up something that has been kind of up in my head a little bit lately, and a couple of the things where right now, if you heard, I talked in a previous episode about sponsorship and things like that, and the way people are like the new devil at every level, right? So EXP kind of put this model on the map, right? The ability to break down geographical barriers, limit, or instead of being limited by geographical borders, you can actually grow your organization, team, whatever you want to call it, downline. You have the ability to go beyond where you're located. However, so what happened was a lot of promises were made by sponsors, and a sponsor would promise something, and then an agent would never see that sponsor again. So now those agents that got into a cloud-based model, as well as a revenue share model, they got in, they never got any support, and now they're worried about where, that they don't want to do that again. Completely understand, 100% understand. The challenge I see though is that I've had a couple different agents. I talk to them. They're like, I like what you have to say. I like what you're going to do. This is, I'd like to grow with you. However, I want to be with a local sponsor. Now, understanding that, a couple of those people I've also seen, they've joined the company, but I've also seen them in addition now running ads and posts and things like that on social media, trying to recruit outside of their local area. So the challenge here is that if you join and you choose a sponsor based on location, and again, I'll come back to this here in just a second, just to clarify. But if you're choosing that for your sole reason for why you're choosing your sponsors because they're close, that also limits your growth for what this model was built for, right? The ability to scale beyond your geographic limitations. And that's what has always been exciting to me, is having the ability to do that. I have agents in, I think, 8 states already now. Eight of the 25 that we have. I have agents in 8 of the 25, and I collaborate with them. I've been on text messages and phone calls multiple times today with both, or not with both, but with a couple of them down in Texas and out in Illinois. But the idea is it's not all of the greatest talent. So when you go from so I'll use this analogy. If anybody follows, football at all, or understands the differences between football, out here in Las Vegas, we have Bishop Gorman. Bishop Gorman is just a powerhouse. I think they're number 1 in the nation high school football team. They are not a part of Clark County School District, which is our school district here, which not even just from the school district, they're pulling from outside of the school district. They're pulling from all over the country. It's a private school. They're getting agents. They're getting football players, the best of the best from all over the country, right? The rest of the high schools out here have to take the players that are zoned for their school. So that would be like going to say, hey, I only want to participate with somebody who's local because they're nearby, and so now you're limited to that right there. Being able to interact with someone and collaborate with someone who is like the Bishop Gorman, now you have access to all over the country essentially. And not saying that choosing a local sponsor is bad. I'm just saying don't choose it strictly based on that. And I understand why people do it. People get in, they got burnt. There was nobody there. And again, Epic has changed the way that the game is being played a little bit in that aspect. So they saw that there were people getting sponsored by people they've never even heard of before, never even met. They saw them on. They would be like right now. I'd be honored if somebody saw my YouTube video and would name me as a sponsor. Would love that. I would hope that they would reach out to me. I would reach out to them obviously if they name me as a sponsor and without talking to me first. But I would have that conversation, at least conversation with them, to see how I can help them, let them know that I'm available, things like that. But in addition to, they have the area leader that's right there. So this gives the kind of the best of both worlds to someone being sponsored by someone both out of state and also having the area leader. There are benefits, however, for instance, to naming someone like a local sponsor. For instance, like I work for a team here. Like if you were, I just accepted that recent position, director of operations and team growth. Now, if someone wanted to name me as a sponsor just because I lived in Las Vegas, that's their decision, of course. But just for that reason, I would also encourage them to think about why. Why would that be important? Is it important just because we're nearby, same time zone? Is that what makes the most sense? Or is it because, hey, I want to be a member of your team and I can join your team and I want to be able to learn from you not only how to handle leads, do listings, close more deals. I also want to learn how to recruit agents to my own downline, and I also want to do it not just here in Las Vegas. I don't want to be limited geographically. How do you do it throughout multiple time zones, throughout multiple states, and things like that? So that's what I would say for when choosing a sponsor. There's many things to think of, but one thing that I would consider when you're doing this is not necessarily just choosing a local sponsor just because they are local. They may be the best fit for you. I'm not saying that they're not. I'm saying they may be the best fit, but if it's just based solely on your local sponsor or that they're local. So for instance, let's say, for instance, you're watching one of these videos and you were in, let's say, Michigan, for example, and you decided to go, well, hey, I like Brandon's videos. I'd like to get that information, but he's also in Las Vegas. Would that work? 100% it would work. But you could also reach out to me and figure out if that would work. Not necessarily just go all the way back to whatever state you're in, go back and find out from someone there. You could do that. I'm just saying that there are other things that go into the decision other than it just being someone local. And that is what I think has really happened through the other means of where we have these quote unquote influencers and they come in and people are joining, and they don't have anybody. I mean, we had a lot of agents that weren't even real estate agents that got their license, had no idea what to do, showed up in a market where their agent was not. In that case, if you're a brand new agent and you are just getting your license and you're wanting to learn the ins and outs of just selling real estate, I would 100% look local, because that's where the agent attraction and the recruiting is completely separate. So if you're one of those agents, I would highly recommend that. If you're an agent that wants to agent attract, wants to recruit, wants to build a downline, then I would definitely look and see. That would probably be lower on my list for someone who is local, rather than someone who has built a team nationally, internationally. And I know this is probably sounding like way fluffing me up for that reason to get people to reach out. But if you do want to grow outside of your market, I would definitely reach out to somebody who has had experience doing that. I think that would be your best option. However, it's completely up to you. Name who you will as your sponsor. I just wanted to get that out there where I've seen a common theme recently that a lot of people think that they have to name someone. So they find out information from one person and then they go and they ask around and then they get somewhat close to them, or maybe they're a broker and they want a broker to name a broker because they feel that would benefit them, which isn't always the case. The support is pretty much the same in that aspect. So just as you're going forward, as you're looking into this more and more, just understand what your goals are, where you want to go, what is it you want to do, and that will help you choose who you think would be best suited as your sponsor. So, all right, I just wanted to cover that for you guys because I've been hearing that quite a bit lately. Not just me, I've been hearing it in other markets. I just had another agent call me yesterday with the same thing, that they had been talking with someone and they started going just like looking in their local market as like the prerequisite, which the benefit, like I said, the way that we have our state broker and then we have our area leaders in each section, that has kind of taken care of the challenge that a lot of people had when they had a remote sponsor that was not responsive at all and didn't do anything and didn't pick up the phone, return a text or anything like that, that we saw in previous companies that some of us have been in. So that's the role of the area leader, to go ahead and combat that, right? To make it so that there is another level of communication happening. In addition to, and hopefully you are finding a sponsor that is responsive. So any questions, feel free. You can book a call in the comments if you want. I got a link to the calendar in there. And if you have any questions, let me know, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great one.